New footage of MO3 and Yella Beezy in the studio is going viral. Not long after it was filmed, MO3 was tragically killed in cold blood. When Beezy was asked about it, he casually brushed it off.
Why couldn't you ever acknowledge 3 before or after his death?
Like, what was the point?
Fast forward a few years, and Yella Beezy finds himself at the center of a shocking twist. Recently arrested for MO3's murder, police claim he didn't just know about it, he planned it. So how do you go from sharing a mic to orchestrating a hit? And how did Yella Beezy allegedly use a woman to help set everything in motion? We're breaking it all down. New footage of Yella Beezy and MO3 has just resurfaced, reigniting a fire that's been burning for years. Posted by College Kid on X, the video shows the 2 Dallas rappers in the studio, laughing, vibing, and making music. No tension, just 2 artists sharing a moment. But the timing of this resurfaced footage is what has everyone talking. It dropped just days after Yella Beezy, whose real name is Marquise Conway, was arrested on March 20th, 2025, and charged with capital murder. Authorities claim he hired Quan White to carry out the hit on MO3, real name Melvin Noble. Now, people are looking at that studio session like it was the calm before the storm, a moment captured just before the ultimate betrayal. Prosecutors allege that Beezy didn't just want MO3 gone, he orchestrated the entire thing, bringing in Quan White to pull the trigger. If that's true, this wasn't just street beef spiraling out of control. It was a cold, calculated setup that ended in bloodshed. It all came to a head on November 11th, 2020. MO3 was driving down Interstate 35 in Dallas when a gunman approached his car. Witnesses described him as a large black male. Realizing the danger, MO3 tried to escape, sprinting down the freeway, but the shooter chased him down and opened fire. Multiple shots rang out. MO3 was hit, rushed to the hospital, but tragically did not survive. Less than a month later, on December 10th, police arrested 21-year-old Quan Dentrell White. A year after that, Devin Maurice Brown was also taken into custody. Neither has stood trial yet. But even before any arrests were made, the streets of Dallas were already buzzing with one name, Yella Beezy. One of the first red flags came in the form of a lawsuit. MO3's manager, Brandon Rainwater, claimed that Beezy and his crew attacked him at a Dallas strip club, leaving him with a dislocated hip. Reports suggest that Beezy's team even bragged about the attack in a video later. This incident happened just months before MO3's murder, adding fuel to the rumors. For a while, Beezy remained free. No charges, no arrests. But the whispers never stopped. The strip club assault, the lawsuit, the online threats, it all kept bubbling beneath the surface. Then came the chilling theory about a woman's involvement. According to the Shade Room, MO3 had just left a woman's house when he noticed something was off. Someone was watching him. Feeling uneasy, he drove to a gas station, but the car behind him stayed close. That's when he knew. Moments later, he got back on I-35. A chase ensued. MO3 crashed, tried to run, but was gunned down. TMZ later reported, according to Air TMZ TV, MO3 was desperately trying to escape his alleged killers moments before he was fatally shot on a Dallas freeway. Now, with Beezy under arrest, the case is taking a dramatic turn. Was this a setup years in the making? And if so, why? Stay tuned as more details continue to emerge. Another chilling detail from the same report stated, after the crash, MO3 reportedly got out of his car and ran for his life before he was tragically shot in the back of the head. Shot in broad daylight on a freeway, it didn't feel like a fight gone wrong. It felt organized. Police never released the name of the woman MO3 was visiting that day, but fans quickly connected the dots. Many speculated she had ties to Beezy's circle. Nothing was ever confirmed, but nothing was denied either. And as silence dragged on, the internet continued piecing together its own version of the story. Last year, during an interview with the Lamp Channel, Beezy finally broke his silence. He dismissed the rumors outright, saying, certain things need to be addressed, certain don't. Stop attaching me to all that because it ain't got nothing to do with me. He looked calm, almost rehearsed, like he had practiced that line. More than once. Now, Yella Beezy sits in the Dallas County Jail with a $2 million bond. Footage released by WFAA-TV shows him being taken into custody, his hands cuffed behind his back, surrounded by officers. He kept looking around but said, nothing. Attempts to get comments from his team and the Dallas Police Department were met with silence. The Dallas County District Attorney's Office also declined to comment, stating, "We do not comment on pending cases." With Beezy behind bars and the resurfaced footage fueling speculation, the conversation naturally shifted back to the bigger question: how did this all begin? The feud between MO3 and Yella Beezy wasn't sparked by a single moment. Both were rising stars in Dallas in the late 2010s. Both repped Oak Cliff, a claim that carries serious weight in the city. But the tension escalated when a third figure entered the picture: Roy Lee. Roy Lee was a popular Dallas comedian known for speaking his mind. In 2017, he publicly questioned Beezy's claim to Oak Cliff, a move that wasn't taken lightly. More importantly, he made it clear that he stood with MO3. That instantly raised the stakes. On September 25, 2018, Roy Lee was shot in a North Dallas shopping center parking lot. He fought for weeks but died on October 13th due to a blood clot caused by the injury. The very next day, October 14th, Yella Beezy was shot 8 times in a drive-by. He survived, but to many it looked like retaliation, one hit triggering another, and the beef turning deadly. MO3 responded the only way he knew how: through music. In 2019, he released a string of diss tracks that left no room for misinterpretation. One of them, 299, dropped on Roy Lee's birthday and directly accused Beezy of being involved in his death. He even suggested there was a bounty on Beezy's head. He wasn't being subtle. He wanted the world to know exactly where he stood. One viral tweet summed it up perfectly. The MO3 and Yella Beezy feud turned deadly after Beezy ducked a fade from MO3's friend Roy Lee. Lee was later killed, setting off a chain of violent events in the city. That should have been a wake-up call, but it wasn't. Even on Reddit, fans were piecing together the history of their beef. One post put it bluntly: MO3's head started getting big and he was talking a lot of anars on social media. Just didn't know if that's what really got him killed. This wasn't just about music, it was about pride, ego, and a lot of online pressure. Then came Beezy's 2024 interview on Can I Vent? When asked why he had never spoken about MO3's death, never acknowledged him before or after, he didn't flinch. He just shrugged it off like it was nothing. Now, with his arrest, the streets of Dallas are buzzing again. Was this a long-brewing war that finally reached its breaking point? Or was it something even deeper?
Why couldn't you ever acknowledge 3 before or after his death?
Like, what was the point?
He went on to say that MO3 had been dismissive when he was alive, claiming that MO3 was jealous of his success. That statement hit hard. It made their feud seem deeper than just music. It sounded personal, like tensions had been brewing long, before the shooting. Still, Beezy later tried to downplay things in another interview. When asked if he and MO3 ever had issues, he casually responded, "We ain't never had no problem." No problem? That didn't match the tone of his earlier comments at all. But the contradictions didn't stop there. When asked about MO3's impact on Dallas music after his death, Beezy's response only added,
Impact, like on the whole city.
That was a big impact for him, like on the whole city. It was probably the only time Beezy ever acknowledged MO3's influence, giving him credit, however briefly. But the interviews didn't stop with Beezy. MO3 had his own words on record. 2. After Beezy's 2018 shooting, where he was hit 3 times while driving, MO3 was asked about it. His response?
Yeah, the word. Real out here, getting it up every day. It's the word.
MO3 showed no sympathy, just a blunt reply, as if it wasn't even a big deal. He later addressed the rumors directly in another interview, dismissing the drama entirely. He claimed it wasn't real, just a story built on things people thought.
No rap beef, nobody. I ain't got no rap beef, no rap in my city. No rap beef. And they was just, all that was something that they heard, they not in the streets, so, their job is to report like the news, so they just going out what they heard. So I just cleared it up on my interview when I went up there and talked to them. Ain't no rap beef, ain't no problem.
But that didn't line up with the music, the interviews, or the lawsuits. The tension was real. The shots were real. And despite what MO3 or Beezy said, the words on both sides never really stopped. The contradictions kept piling up, but the Internet wasn't waiting around for court dates or press statements. As soon as news of Yellow Beezy's arrest broke, Twitter exploded. One tweet summed up the general sentiment. Yellow just dumb ASF. Had every opportunity to turn his life around and still picked dumb. Thought he got away with it, and 5 years later, they got his ass. Another didn't hold back. Yellow Beezy is the definition of a friend killer. Can't trust a soul on this earth. And then came the tweet that really put things into perspective. Texas gave Tay-K 55 years, and he didn't even pull the trigger. He was just there. So what you think Texas is gonna do to Yellow Beezy on a capital murder charge? People weren't waiting for facts. The internet had already made up its mind. Guilty or not, Beezy was being dragged in every comment section, every thread, every group chat. But the backlash wasn't just about MO3. Yellow Beezy's name had been tangled in controversy long before this murder charge. Legal issues of Yellow Beezy. On February 14, 2021, he was arrested in Dallas for unlawful possession of a firearm. He didn't sit long. He was released the same day, but it was just the beginning. Then, on August 11, 2021, he was arrested again, this time on drug and weapon charges. The details were vague. No specifics on what kind of drugs or what kind of weapon, but it was enough to remind people he wasn't staying out of trouble. The biggest one came a few months later, on November 5, 2021. Beezy was arrested in Plano, Texas, on a sexual assault charge and another weapons charge. This case made headlines fast. It got people talking in a different way. That charge didn't hold, though. It was dismissed in June 2022. Still, the damage was already done. People remember the arrest, not always the dismissal. Then, in July 2024, his name was back in the news, this time in a lawsuit involving Chris Brown. 4 men filed a suit in Harris County, claiming they had been invited to a VIP experience at Chris Brown's show at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. But instead of a chill night, they alleged they were jumped by Brown's entourage, and that Beezy was right there, helping. Beezy's lawyer shut it down fast, telling the Shade Room. Yellow Beezy was not involved in any incident, did not have any contact with the plaintiffs, and does not understand why he is named in the lawsuit or the temporary restraining order. That was clearly filed before all facts were obtained and verified. Even with that denial, the pattern was getting harder to ignore. Guns, assaults, arrests, and now, a capital murder charge. Each case made it harder for people to believe Beezy was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. But to understand how Yellow Beezy ended up here, you have to rewind the story, long before the courtrooms, the lawsuits, and the headlines. The early life of Yellow Beezy. Before all this, he was just Marquise Conway, a kid from Dallas with a rough start. He grew up in Oak Cliff, a neighborhood known for both its talent and its struggles. When he was just 12 years old, his world changed forever. His father was murdered at their home on Mother's Day. That kind of trauma doesn't just pass, it shapes everything. Like any other kid, he chased dreams. He spent most of his childhood playing football and basketball, hoping to go pro. But life had other plans. As a teenager, Conway joined the Crips. He started selling drugs to help support his family. It wasn't some movie plot. It was survival. He attended Lancaster High School and graduated, but music had already pulled him in another direction. Inspired by artists like Beezy and Kevin Gates, he started writing lyrics at just 13 years old. And by 14, he had already dropped his